everybody, and welcome to the Angela Anderson Show, where we are helping moms live their dream while taking care of their family. I'm so glad you've joined me today. I am your host, Angela Anderson. Let me tell you just a little bit about why we created this show. This show is a result of a virtual summit that I hosted during the summer of 2022. It was called Get Your Life on Track, Walk in Your Purpose. The focus was on mothers who want to identify their purpose and live it fully while taking care of their family. For 14 days, I interviewed top speakers and influencers who shared information and useful tips that assisted mothers everywhere in finding their purpose, pursuing their goals, and living their dream, all while taking care of their family. So if you don't know me by now, that is my thing. Ladies, we can do this. We can be a mom. We can live our dream. We can do anything, all while taking care of our family. Now, there was such a popular demand for this type of content. So I created this talk show where I will continue to empower mothers to see their value, understand their importance, and reclaim their identity. And again, I'm so excited that you are here with me, and even more excited because I have a special guest with me. Before I bring her out, I want to introduce her properly. Her name is Lisa Campbell. Lisa is a seasoned registered nurse whose expertise and experience span over 2 decades as an educator, executive leader, and mentor. Her desire to highlight the positive impact of holistic and integrative care led her to elevate her nursing practice by earning the nationally recognized board certification of nurse coach through the American Holistic Nurses Credentialing Corporation. Lisa also holds a Master of Healthcare Administration degree. As a catalyst and advocate for holistic health and wellness, Lisa supports individuals, groups, and organizations through a transformative journey to understand unmanaged stress. And we know how that is, ladies, moms out there, process trauma, and learn about the impact of holistic practices and nervous system regulation on well being and success. Ooh, we're going to talk about some stuff today. Lisa is the CEO and founder of CARE, CARE, Leadership Consulting LLC, and author of The Start, START, and we're going to talk about the acronym with you. It's a self-care journal and framework. Lisa empowers her clients with the tools and knowledge needed to not just get by, but to thrive. Her approach focuses on uncovering barriers to creating actionable steps toward achieving optimal health, to lead fulfilling lives, develop meaningful relationships, and live life well. As a wife and a mother of 2 busy teenagers, when Lisa is not brainstorming on ways to fulfill her God given assignment, she's hanging out with her family, singing, and she's one of my favorite singers, y'all, running, and enjoying nature. So excited to have Lisa join us today. Lisa, how you doing?
Hi, Angela. Hi, everyone.
I'm so excited that you're here on my show, and thank you so much for joining me today.
It is a pleasure to be here. I'm glad that we have this time.
Yes, me as well. So tell us. I know I just read your bio, Lisa, but what is your current profession at this moment in time?
Well, like every mom, we have like 20 hats that we wear.
Oh yeah.
Like I said, I think my first profession, job, career, all the things is my home, my family, the 2 children that I'm trying to help raise with alongside my husband to be productive members of society who love Jesus.
Right.
That's my goal. That's the number one thing. I also still serve as a nurse leader. And I also, like I said, wanted to figure out how to help individuals. And I know that you read off about like healthcare professionals, but I love helping women, especially busy ones like myself. And I don't know a mom who is not busy.
That's right.
So, yeah, I coach people. I walk alongside them in a journey to help co-create plans to help them live their best lives. So that's the passion part of my work and what I do. And I love every minute of it.
That's awesome. I love hearing that, Lisa. So I know that you started out as a nurse, and now you are a nurse leader. In a role that, as you said, all of us wear many hats, but it's a leadership role,
Mhm.
and a very important one at that. When were you, I want to say, inspired, or what inspired you to branch out and help women, help moms? I'm saying moms because it's a mom show. um, you know, with um, this type of thing. Like, what inspired you to, you know what? I'm a nurse.
Yeah.
However, there's more. There's more for
Mhm.
me. Walk us through that. Talk to me.
It's a great question, and it's there's a lot to unpack. But I would say what has prompted me and inspired me. There's a couple things. One, my own story and my own life's journey.
Mm.
Um, I about 2 years ago, I'm trying to reflect, and had not realized that I was experiencing a lot of stress related conditions and illnesses
Hmm.
until one day, the one that really concerned me was when I was taking my children to school and I started experiencing chest pain.
Wow.
And I was like, what is happening? And as a nurse, knowing what those signs were, like classic symptoms to me, chest into my neck. And I'm thinking, we're 5 minutes from school. Okay, let's take a breath, figure out what's happening. And I didn't feel anything. I didn't feel diaphoretic or sweaty, and some of the other symptoms that come with having like a heart attack or another cardiac event. So I thought to myself, well, whatever it is, it could be a little bit of anxiety, or maybe it could be something more serious. I don't want to downplay it. So let me just drop them off. And I called my provider and I said, so this is what's happening. I just took my children to school. I promise I'm going to go get myself checked out.
Right. Right.
And I did that, and nothing came of it. Thankfully, I did not have any markers that were to indicate that I was having a cardiac event or a heart attack or anything like that. I
Right.
wore a heart monitor for 2 weeks after that. Nothing came of that. So I was thankful.
Right.
But then the number one question my cardiologist asked me on my visit was,
Mm.
"What was your stress like?" And I'm thinking, I mean,
Mm.
what do you mean? Like, it's normal stuff
There
that
you
I'm
go.
going through.
Yeah.
Everybody has a level of stress. I was downplaying it, but then I had to understand and recognize that I had to call it what it was, and that
Yes.
there were areas of my life that I had neglected.
Mhm.
And when I thought back to it, I should have paid more attention. The
Wow.
level of awareness of myself, what was happening in my body, was just not there.
Hmm.
And then when I started to think back, interestingly, I'd started my company, Care Leadership Consulting, in 2020. And that came as part of the story as well, because I was watching a panel discussion about women who are also pastors. They
Hmm.
were talking about their challenges,
Right.
and my heart just broke for them. And I said, like, who's taking care of these people? Who's
Right.
taking care of the leaders who are caring for other people?
Right.
And it's like God said, you've got to do that. And I
Mm.
felt really strongly that although I'm a leader, I also feel that calling to really help to support and to uplift and encourage others. And
Right.
I wanted to use my gift in that way. So those two things combined really inspired me to kind of branch out. A colleague of mine, I was like, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do this? Do I go back to school? What do I go to school for? And
Right.
that's still a debate in my head, because my brain stays busy and I love to learn. So
Yes.
Looking at doctoral programs, that's a whole nother story. But a
Oh,
colleague of mine, I'm either, yeah, I
okay.
don't know what I am, but something to think about.
Right.
A colleague of mine told me about being a nurse coach, and I asked her what it was about, and she said it's really an opportunity to learn how to help coach people using coaching principles, asking deep and thought-provoking questions, co-designing plans in order for them to reach their goals.
Mm-hmm.
And I was sold. So I said,
Yep.
okay, yeah, we're going to do that. And so I did that course, and I actually finally bit the bullet, took the test, and became certified in May of this year.
That's awesome. Congratulations to
Thank
you.
you. Thank
That's
you.
amazing. Um, and I can totally see that. Lisa, a couple things that you said. Well, first we'll talk about the coaching. Um, it only makes sense because you have the nursing background, and um, what more than to help others
Yeah.
um, with what you see, and bring them along in their goals, and from one coach to the next. It's fulfilling, you
Hmm.
know, encouraging, empowering others to get to where not only they need to be, where um, you know their God-given purpose, and
Yeah.
helping them along with that, knowing from our own experience, right, what that's like.
Yeah.
Um, so I think that's awesome, and I know that your clients love you. It's amazing.
Thank
Something else that you said, earlier on as you were talking about your journey. Um, you know, you said something about self-awareness,
you.
and I did a little bit of an episode on that, and but what you said was from a physical standpoint. You're in the car, you're having these symptoms, um, and then when you spoke with someone and they said, "Well, what type of stress were you under?" And a lot of times, right?
Yeah.
We as moms, as women, we downplay it. We got stuff to do. We don't have time for this. Like every time I feel sick, I'm the worst sick person ever because
We are.
be sick. I don't have time
Right.
for this. Right?
Right. That's what makes me more upset. Not, it's
Right.
like,
Yeah.
there's stuff to do. I don't have time.
Right. And we don't really rest well. We're not, you know, I don't want to speak for you, but I'm not a good sick person because I don't see myself just laying down and doing nothing. I'll try and do stuff while sick. And that's not
Mm,
good either. That's horrible. Yes, I admitted it right here on the show. Right.
that's the first step. Great.
Admitting I have a problem. But I just want to point that out to our viewers, the moms that are listening. Listen to your body.
Yes.
Um, don't downplay the fact that you are doing a lot. You are doing a lot,
Mhm.
and take a moment to breathe.
Mhm.
And Lisa, I'm going to have you talk about that later on in the show. But it's so very important to have that self awareness, to know that it's like, okay, know when to say when, um, and understand that um, we are under a lot of stress, and we have to take it little by little. And again, I know you've got a lot on that. So, but I just wanted to point that out in terms of self awareness. That's a key phrase um, to that. So, Lisa, let's talk to the moms out there who um, are, you know, they know they have a dream, you
Mhm.
know, and they haven't pursued it, for whatever reason. Let's talk to them for a second because you just said, you have this profession as a nurse, and it's like you used your skills, you just like stacked on it, you used your skills in a different capacity, you know.
Yeah.
But what would you say? to a mom who is just sitting there watching right now and who hasn't pursued her dream and really wants to?
Hmm. I would say to that mom who wants to pursue her dreams, um, it's easy to say go for it, and everybody's like, well, how do I do that?
Hmm.
I do think that if there's something deep within your heart that won't let you go, that is something that God is really calling you to, and not to ignore it. And now it may take some time, and you may not see it materialize tomorrow, or even next week or the next month. But write it down. I'm a firm believer. Write it all out. Like, what are you seeing and envisioning? Write that down, and then start to break it down. What
Hmm.
can you do today? What can you do tomorrow?
Right.
Um, I had never thought that I would publish a book. I never, ever, ever would have thought. And I thought it was much harder than it was. And when I surrounded myself with people who were already thinking in that realm,
Yes.
it became easier for me too. So I would say again, write it down, break it down, and surround yourself with people who can help you. You don't have to do this alone. There are women who, I mean, sometimes it's all of us saying, I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but it's gonna get done. And we figure it out together and you lean
Right.
upon each other, find community. I think those would be like the three major things
Hmm.
that helped me and I think would be just a great first step. Don't ignore it. And, if you're like me, I think doing dishes takes an eternity when it should take maybe 10 minutes, right? So we tend to say we avoid it and we put it on the back burner because it's going to take too long. I don't have the time. But if
Yeah.
you start to break it down and then just every day or every week, do something about it,
Right.
um, there's so many things that we can do. And some of it comes out of your own story or your own necessity. I mean,
Yeah.
my first go at entrepreneurship was my son who had horrible eczema, and I'm thinking, we nothing is working.
Hmm.
If I can, I mean, there has to be a recipe on the internet somewhere that I could make a cream, I could do a thing, and
Right.
that's how my first company was launched, just by that, just putting
Wow.
a seed and saying, okay, how am I going to do this and figuring that out. We
Yeah.
have so much like power and vision within us as women, um, and the fact that you're a mom, you're doing it. Okay. Even if you don't feel like it, you are doing so much great work in the lives of your children and your family. So write out what you're feeling and what you're thinking.
Hmm.
Break it down. Find people who know what they're doing or, who can encourage you along the way too, and see where that takes you. Yeah.
Yes.
Don't get so wrapped up in what it should look like and there's too many people and just
Right.
start small, just
Yes. Yes. Yes.
step by
Yes.
step.
Love it. Love it. And everything you said, it all resonates with me. Starting out small, it's those small steps. We always think that we got to, do it all at once, or oh, I don't have this together. Even, when you and I were talking before we came live on
Yeah.
here, and you're like, "Oh, I'm so glad you're doing this show," and I'm like, "Girl, it almost didn't happen." It's like I don't have it all together. I don't know, blah blah blah. But you know, um, I have a coach, and like you said, surround yourself with people
Mhm.
who are in your corner, who are for you, or
Yeah.
who are like-minded, who've either done something like it or have stepped out. Other mompreneurs, we're everywhere. We're everywhere.
Everywhere.
You know,
Everywhere.
cheerleaders, people who can be happy for you, to get you going and point you in the right direction. So yeah, that's all good. Um, Let me ask you another question, Lisa. What um, what would you say was the greatest challenge you faced um, while being a mom
Mm.
and then pursuing your goals or your dream? Like you talked about, you came upon this. Let's see, my son's got this skin condition. All right, I'm going to come up with something and whip it up. Um, and you have so many other things that you do as a speaker, as an author, as a, you're in the workforce, and you're doing the coaching, and like you said, a lot of hats. But what is the greatest challenge you would say, or one of being a mom and pursuing your dream?
I think one of the biggest challenges does include just, knowing where to start and not getting overwhelmed, because I want to
Mm,
do it all and I want to do it all well.
yeah.
So I had to learn when I needed to ask for help. And
Yes.
that's hard.
Struggle. I still
I
struggle with that.
struggle with asking for help.
Hmm.
And then whatever I do, and this has been for me lately, it's like whatever I'm doing has to add to my end goal and my values. That's my
Yeah.
family, that's freedom of time, and everything else, in order to enjoy what we've got here. And um, sometimes you do have to work really hard in an area in order to pursue the goals and the dreams that you have in another. And for a while, that balance, I used air quotes, I'm sorry, but I do think that it's more like harmony. As a
Okay.
vocalist, I think you said, you mentioned I sing as well. Like, there are different parts and pieces to life,
Hmm.
and how does it all fit together? Some things way more than others, and then the very next week it flips.
Yes.
And just being okay, and giving myself grace for the things that are just gonna have to get missed, because
Yes.
it can't all get done. So asking for help and understanding some things are going to get missed. And I heard her name is Nicole Walters say that it's like you're spinning plates in the air.
I've heard that before.
Some plates are plastic. What do you determine to be a glass plate? Like, what's important to me? Like family stuff. Like, I can't miss my kids, events and stuff. That's for me, it's a non-negotiable. Well, something else may have to take the back seat for a minute so that I can get that done. So it's funny because I just posted something on Instagram about me not sticking to my own, principles lately, just because it's been a busy season. But
Hmm.
then I said, okay, now I have to like really kind of reset and prioritize what's important.
Right.
That's rest right now, but um,
Yes.
it's self awareness. It goes back to that. What is being aware of what's going on around you and within you, and pausing enough so that you can make the actions necessary
Yeah.
to fulfill the goals that you have. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I
It's
like
not
it.
perfect. It's
No.
not, it's messy. And it's beautiful, all of the things at the same time. So,
All at the same time. Yeah.
yeah.
Yep. And as moms, we understand that. We know that. Um, Lisa, talk to us about your book. I'm so excited because my sister-in-law has a copy. She's in it right now, and get ready to order mine. But it's a journal. I love journaling. I advocate journaling big time. I see the benefits of it in my own life and the life of others. But talk to us about your book.
Yeah. I'd love to. So that's my baby. I think the first day I came in the mail and I held it in my hands, I just cried and I held it so closely. It is a self-care journal and planner, and it does carry both names because I couldn't decide on what I wanted it to be, because it's both. It is the opportunity for individuals to look at self-care practices. There are 5 particular domains that I believe are really, really important for foundational self-care. I'll join you at the spa any day. Not a problem. But if I don't take care of these 5 things first, then I'll just be going to the spa for a day and I'll still feel depleted. And so when I was going through after my episode, and I realized that I was actually struggling with anxiety and depression,
Mm,
had to journaling was part of me doing the work for me. And as I journaled, there were things that I would just write stories. I would just, really, spiritual connection was a huge thing for me as a believer in God and Jesus Christ.
right.
And as I was writing, I remember it was Mother's Day. I had it in my journal and didn't really do a whole lot with it. And then I remember and it wasn't really structured. And then on Mother's Day last year, I wrote it out, and it's like, what would this look like if I were to give it to someone? How could
Mhm.
I allow someone not only to journal and say, man, this is how I'm feeling,
Right.
but plan out your day. What
Mhm.
are you going to do about the areas of your life that need attention? What actions are you going to take? And so it's called Start With You because a lot of our lives are about other people.
Okay.
And while it is about others, it has to start with you first. You set the tone in a lot of the places that you hold space in. How you're feeling and thinking and choosing really makes a difference in the lives of others and yourself. And so, START is an acronym, and it stands for spiritual connection. And from that spiritual connection, you set your intention. Then T is taking a breath. It's the ability and the opportunity to pause and honestly deep breathe because we really discount how much breathing helps us physically and mentally. And it's a way to practice stillness. A is for self awareness or awareness. How am I feeling? Um, we tend to disassociate what we're feeling, especially physically, like we've mentioned. I mean, when I think back, there were maybe three other things that were taking place that I did not pay attention to
Wow.
until the big, like, if you're not going to pay attention to me, my body's like, hello, I'm here. We're tired. Are you listening?
Right.
And then R is for rest. And I cannot emphasize the need for rest enough. And the last T is taking a time out to do something that you love because we tend to just kind of forego that. So I wrote it all out as part of my healing journey. And then I'm like, if I wanted to give this to a friend, this is what it would look like. And
Right.
I held on to that until this year when I published it. And
Wow.
again, being around people who were like, that's easy. You want to do that? This is what we're going to do.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, you say it like it's so easy. And they're like, yeah, because it is. And when I realized how easy it was, I would have held off on that maybe for another year
Yep.
if I didn't have people encouraging me.
Yep.
So again, as a registered nurse and someone who really believes in like integrative health and medicine, there's a time and place for all of it. But I do think that there's certain things that we can do holistically that will help us at the very, I would say, ground level. But what I love about the journal is that it gives me a plan and it keeps me accountable. If I
Yeah.
wrote it down, I said I was going to read 5 pages of that book. That's to take time out to do something that I love.
Right.
The end of the day, if I haven't done, I'm like, okay, I at least need to like crack the book open, or I'm going to do those 5 pages because I owe it to myself. I
Right.
have to also switch my mindset that I was important to put on my priority list, and I had to do that because
Right.
otherwise, I was irritable. I was just like running around, really
Yeah.
not like that hamster wheel, and I didn't feel good
Mhm.
uh, in any sense at
Right.
all. So
Yeah.
that's what the journal is meant to do. It's meant to not be, a long list of like writing out a lot of things, but
Mhm.
there are prompts within the journal that will help you kind of say, okay, what is spiritual connection for me? What's my moment of gratitude and prayer?
Yeah.
um, and how am I feeling and thinking? And I was talking to a woman who's using it right now, and she's like, I'm writing all in the margins. She's like, I never journal. And I love this because one, it doesn't take a lot of time, but then when I do want to pour out more, I have that opportunity to do that. So
Right.
it also has a habit tracker. I wouldn't be a nurse if I wasn't looking at like, hey, how can you measure how well you're doing?
Mm.
Habit tracker every 7 days, and you set your goals from the very beginning, and then at the end you can kind of compare how you started and how you finished the book.
Ingenious. I love it. I love it. And I can't wait to get my copy. Especially, the part about accountability, Lisa, that that's so important. We keep our promises for other people. We do it for our kids. You know what I'm saying? We look our kids in the face and they're gonna remind us, but you promised. And
Mhm.
why can't we do that for ourselves?
Right.
We have to keep our word. If
Hmm.
we said to yours, if I said to myself, I'm gonna do this, then I need to do it. you
Yeah.
know, and that's how we find our it all ties into our worth and our value, how we value ourselves and keeping
Yes.
our own promises. So I love that. Now, where can we find your book?
The book is available on Amazon.
Okay.
And so if you go to Amazon.com, if you search my name, Lisa E. Campbell, it should pop up. But if you just put start without not as an acronym, but just start with you,
Hmm.
self care, it pops up as well. So
Perfect.
mhm.
Perfect. And if we want to connect with you, how do we do that, Lisa?
You can connect with me through Instagram, and my Instagram handle is Lisa E. Campbell with an underscore at the end.
Mhm.
My name is hugely popular. Apparently, there's a million of us. So I put my middle initial there. And then also on Facebook, I actually have a Facebook group called the Care Leadership Project. And, we can meet there and we just kind of, I post things there, post lives there. And so those are the two places that you can find me. I'm also on LinkedIn, especially like you mentioned, I do some work with consulting with organizations and companies. So if that's more up your alley, then yeah, you can find me there too.
Awesome, awesome, Lisa. I just want to thank you so much for coming to the show and sharing so much. Um, all of that information definitely is helpful to all of us.
Hmm.
And everybody, if you haven't gotten that book yet, you need to go out there and get it. Start with you, journal, self care is all in there. And I love the way you laid that out, Lisa. The way that God led you to put it all in a book as if you're giving it to someone and now you're giving it to us for us to have. So I'm excited about that. And I want to thank everyone for tuning in to the Angela Anderson Show. Thank you so much. If you like what you saw here, remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Um, I'm at the Angela Anderson Show. And like Lisa said, there's a million Lisa Campbells. There's a million Angela Andersons out there. So you may have to scroll for a second. As I said, I just launched in April, so I'm not at the top yet. Yet.
Yeah, that's right.
So you may have to scroll down a little bit. But once you find me, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. That way you'll be reminded that we are showing um, this broadcast and subsequent broadcasts 4 p.m. Eastern Time every Wednesday. I also stream on Facebook in my profile and in the mom group. If you're not a part of my mom group, get out there and click on Get Your Life on Track, Walk in Your Purpose. This also streams there. If you're just an audio type person, I'm also on Spotify as a podcast. So you can follow the Angela Anderson Show. And again, you'll be notified once the broadcast is ready. So you'll never miss an episode. And I welcome you to go back and check the ones that you've missed. Just go ahead and listen. There's some nuggets that I'm sure will be a benefit to you and to other moms out there. So, thank you again for watching this show. Lisa, thank you again for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure.
It has been a pleasure. And to everyone else out there, take good care.